I want you to talk about the press release that just dropped into my mailbox, and it's probably on the website now. 4G. It's about 4G, guys. So it's like the episode that we did last time, part two, for the first 5 minutes, right? So just to give you a heads up, what happened today is like for the past, ever since the announcement of 4G, the game that was announced by by an Indian dev and promoted by Akshay Kumar, which is right after the ban on PUBG M, right? Ever since that announcement has happened, there have been trolls on the internet who have been posting fake trailers and been talking about things like how this was initially conceptualized by the late Sushant Singh Rajput, and how and like loads of stuff which I don't want to get into. So they have actually filed a court order, and they've got an interim order from the Bombay High Court, which says that and the which says that if you are posting such stuff on the internet, be it Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even LinkedIn, or
Yeah.
YouTube, and if they deem it to be fake news, right, they can ban you and get criminal proceedings done for you. As at least that's what I understood from the court order. So, with that in mind, with this new censorship in mind, what do you guys have to say about 4G? Manas, you want to go first?
अरे मुझे क्यों बंदूक? Why do I? वैसे या बट या इवन आई गॉट द प्रेस रिलीज एंड मैं पहली बार ही देख रहा हूँ लाइक इन अ प्रेस रिलीज आई एम सीइंग लाइक हे लाइक अ कोर्ट ऑर्डर लाइक लुक व्हाट वी हैव डन एंड लाइक आई डोंट थिंक कि एपिक या एप्पल का भी लाइक या मे बी लाइक एपिक वर्सेस एप्पल डिड इट गो आउट लाइक अ कोर्ट ऑर्डर इन द प्रेस रिलीज तो
I don't think so.
इट जस्ट साउंडेड थोड़ा वियर्ड ऑल्सो द प्रेस
Yeah,
रिलीज उसके देयर इज अ कोर्ट ऑर्डर फुल कोर्ट ऑर्डर अटैच्ड लाइक इफ आई कैन शो इट राइट लाइक मैं वीडियो में दिखा दूंगा लॉन्ग साइड बिकॉज दे हैव सेंड इट आउट राइट तो दिखा आई
yep.
विल शो इट
I
इफ आई
think
कैन
it's I think it's in the fair session of like they've shared it with us,
या
so it is understood that we'll be sharing it further as well.
या एंड उसके साथ देयर इज अ नोट आल्सो प्रेस नोट जिसमें वो एक्सप्लेन किया है सिचुएशन क्या है ना इट्स बिकॉज ऑफ लाइक पीपल आर सेइंग कि ये सुशांत सिंह राजपूत का आइडिया था द गेम एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट एंड द फेक ट्रेलर्स आल्सो
Mhm.
एंड उसके एंड में लाइक आई एम फर्स्ट टाइम आई एम सीइंग लाइक अ प्रेस नोट एंडिंग विद लाइक जय हिंद तो मुझे थोड़ा लगा आई मीन hey there is nothing wrong with patriot just thoda और like this is not what you नहीं ना like thanks and regards and एक professional note होता है end पे कि ना like who the person जो send कर रहा है and वैसे just थोड़ा odd लगा like this whole thing just feels कि like why like I can totally understand कि you don't want a bad name for your game especially सुशांत सिंह राजपूत वाला but मुझे नहीं लगा था it's that big a deal मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि this a court order makes that news like a bigger deal than मैंने उसके बारे में इतना सुना ही नहीं था like I have followed the game decently enough I'm working on a video मैंने बहुत research किया उसके around ये मैं like this might be the second time I'm hearing about it and दोनों बारी मैंने उन्हीं से सुना है not from anywhere else
Mhm.
on the internet but उनके मुंह से कि लोग ऐसा कह रहे हैं the fake trailers मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है एक वे में it shows कि how excited people are and also how people also want to make fake trailers to get views
Mhm.
बट आई थिंक फेक ट्रेलर से प्रॉब्लम ये हो सकता है कि वॉट इफ पीपल लुक एट दैट एंड गेट एक्सपोज टू समथिंग लाइक बैटलफील्ड 3 था जो वन ऑफ द मैंने देखा था ना बैटलफील्ड 3 के ट्रेलर चल रहा है इस पे तो मे बी इफ
Mhm.
समबडी गेट्स एक्सपोज टू बैटलफील्ड 3 एंड थिंग्स कि दिस इज ऑसम एंड देन दे सी फौजी एंड आई एम नॉट सेइंग फौजी उतना ऑसम नहीं होगा आई एम प्रीटी श्योर होगा आई मीन देयर इज नो डाउट इन माई माइंड इट विल बी बेटर देन बैटलफील्ड 3 बट वॉट इफ in the odd chance कि it is not as good looking and as well polished as battlefield तो मे बी लोग डिसअपॉइंट हो जाए तो मे बी उनको डर ये है विद द फेक ट्रेलर्स कि ना पीपल सी समथिंग दैट इज वे बेटर दैन द एक्चुअल प्रोडक्ट इज गोइंग टू बी
Mhm.
दैट्स माय
Sushil,
थॉट
what do you think?
So I personally share my views with Manas, but I also think that they should like maybe have taken it a little bit lightly because any like I think in media any kind of publicity is like good publicity is considered good publicity. So if people are making like fake trailers or fan trailers of your game, I think you should be happy that people are waiting for your game to come out and stuff like that instead of taking something like this heavy-handed approach. But then again, I mean, I can understand the reasoning behind it. But I still think it's a little heavy-handed. I don't have anything much to say about it.
See, I'll be honest. Like, see, my problem with this is like this is an interim order, which basically says if you're saying anything about the video game that the publishers or developer don't agree with, you could be dragged into court. So let's say if somebody plays the video game and has an impression of it, which is not good, you know,
Hmm.
if let's say it's a bad review or it's a critical assessment of that video game, will that also fall under this legalese? You know,
Yeah.
all these policies. So it's a then it's done very haphazardly, because I remember there was an article on the Mako reactor that's run by Rishi,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
which he talked to the guy behind the game, and in that article he did mention that that they are looking at legal options on how to solve all these issues. And like Manas said, most of the time we heard it from them,
Hmm.
like about the Sushant Singh thing, that COVID-19 thing, that these are the kind of things that people are doing in the internet, and we want them to stop. So and so it's very weird, but I'd also think like the having such a blanket court order on such things is a problem. uh, we as a country take our legal policies very seriously sometimes, like to the word, uh, uh, especially when we are trying to apply it to general public. So it can be a little difficult going forward. But yeah, I just hope nobody has something funny or witty to say about the game in the coming months, until the game actually comes out. uh, and I, like I said, best of luck to FAU-G. I hope they do great.
I'm sure
I
they
am
will.
all for it. Yeah, I also take back everything that I said about them in the last podcast session, even though it was before.
The court
I have
order.
my views, man. I remember I put in a comment on that Rachel Vanis article and what I thought about that purpose, about that particular piece.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to keep that to myself now and write it in my diary,
But
never to be discovered again.
मतलब imagine like the stupid the क्या बोल रहे yeah it's very weird to think कि like gaming में you don't get to see stuff like this like पता नहीं अच्छा feeling नहीं है to think कि like this is what's going on when like a big मतलब this is supposed to be big right like uh,
Yeah.
at least big names behind it तो थोड़ा odd है like why it almost reeks of insecurity eh, more than
Yeah,
anything
and
else.
like we have companies like Cyberpunk and all, who lean into memes.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
people put on memes on the internet, they lean into it.
yeah,
They're like, it's very different in India. And I understand from a point of view, like historically, just to give you an example, and like in their terms, like when Valve were working on Half-Life 2, you know, so where they had an information leak where the characters and the information about the story leaked out,
yeah.
right?
Right.
And it came to knowledge that the protagonist will be a lady, and there were gender bender 69 stuff on the internet, the rule 21 stuff on the internet
Okay.
for that character. And the team felt very like, this is from Gabe Newell. He says that the team felt demotivated after saying that kind of stuff on the internet, like the character that they put so much effort in, so much work in, is being mistreated, or like put into, like, not used well or not respected by the community that they're making the game for, and they felt highly demotivated by that. So I get that, like if you're working on a particular game and you're saying that it's going to be the next big thing to come out, and then the half of the world is making fake trailers, because India makes up for half of the world of population on the internet, right? So so uh so yeah, I think like I can understand where that is coming from. Excuse me. It's also coming from, and like we are not searching for the every day in our search bar, right? Their Facebook search results are probably driven towards 4G. Everything
Yeah, yeah.
hashtag 4G is coming up in their streams, so they're looking at it more in that sense. So I understand that part, like where they're coming from and why it could happen in that area. But I think it's a like very strict step to take. Too It's like too much in the authoritative direction. You know, like I want to stamp all of this out before anything happens. Basically, when anything bad happens to my game. Like even The Last of Us 2, like Neil Druckmann completely ignored all the negative criticism that came for his game,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he never basically went to court or said like no reviewer is going to post a bad score on the game, or
Yeah.
don't don't put out a meme on that game. There was a GIF that was doing the round, which
Yeah.
was completely distasteful. But he never basically came out. I see this GIF and ban it. So
Yeah,
it
actually
reeks
that's
of
a very
class,
good
man.
point here. Like Last of Us का कितना misinformation था like around the game, right? Just because of a few leaks. Yeah.
Hmm. So yeah, so I think like I could understand where they're coming from, but I also kind of have a feeling that it is not out of the passion for their game. It's more about like how like we Indians kind of look at protecting our property, you know,
Hmm.
uh, just that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's about it. And I don't want to waste any more of this time and get this podcast banned because of and get us into all into legal issues. Let's talk about more happy things.